Well, thank you again for your time and your candor. And Ron, if there's anything you wanted to sort of ask or share or...
Just also thank you for a really great conversation and reinforcing, but also I think some new ideas put on the table as well. I'm finding that listening tours are hard. I like talking tours and listening tours. So I've been dying to get into this. And so I've done a good job of staying out of it, which was the goal tonight. So thanks for your thoughts and for being here. One collaborative that I think we're all really proud of is the Strive for 95. That was a collaborative among Sansom Clinic, Cottage, County Public Health Department, and Education. And it just, you find, I think another asset we have in the community is when you find a cause that people believe in, we all know each other, and so we can kind of assemble the leadership and the troops very quickly, and we supported the marketing effort and got the word out there and made a real difference. And so for me, that makes me very optimistic that if we do what you said, Bill, if we can find those three things that we kind of agree on, these are things that are serious and we can work on, I think the people around this table and others that you've met, Bob, are going to be very anxious to be a part of that. And so that gives me a lot of hope and confidence in what we're trying to do here. I do have one question, and I'm a nonprofit guy, work at a nonprofit organization and always have. And so just as I've been listening to this, and I've heard it my whole career here, that we have the highest number of nonprofit organizations, certainly per capita, of any place in the United States. And I've always kind of thought of that as a point of pride in our community. My question is, does the fact that we have so many silos, is that good for us, or does it create some barriers? And I raise it just wondering out loud if, in fact, that we have so much infrastructure where people sort of get committed to their thing, and it just makes me wonder if not that there's anything we can do about that, but maybe there's a way that we can support more of a coming together of the nonprofits around certain causes that. Like you said, you go into a room sometimes and you see people kind of in the same field of work who haven't talked that much to each other. So I just wonder if there are opportunities there that we haven't tapped yet.
Well, I think along the lines you just talked about is you identify, as Bill suggested, sort of what those three things are, and we can all focus on them. I think that'll start to bring people together. I know that one of the sort of marching orders I was given when I got here was that the chamber had gotten very silent, and we needed to reach out and really say, look, we want to partner with everyone. Our relationship with Visit Santa Barbara and the Downtown Association is infinitely better than it was, and we're constantly finding new ways to help partner and work with each other. It doesn't mean that things are falling through the cracks, but we're sort of identifying those things that we agree on, and just having that dialogue and finding where we can. Yeah. And so I think it's a great way to be able to get folks into the room, and if we're all targeting the same thing, inevitably we're going to have to work together to get the solutions.
Yeah, great.
I heard two interesting sort of stories along those lines. One was when I made this comment about sort of this really robust ecosystem. Someone said, "You mean ecosystem?" and there was this sort of thing that there are a lot of organizations and there's a lot of competition, for resources and time and attention. Yeah. And the other thing that was made, the point that was made that was interesting was that you take an example like the food bank, which both sort of distributes food directly to families, but also through all their valuable partners. And the comment was made that right now you may have a person who is getting food from 3 different partners that we work with because they feel safe going to those 3 places. But they could make one trip to their main sort of place and get their provisions for the month. Mm-hmm. And right now there may not be the incentives for any of those 3 organizations to dissuade them from getting the food here and going, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because so it's not always in your best interest, when the work we do with other nonprofits, there is this idea for at least some of them is sort of well, when do you put yourself out of business? Mm-hmm. Because presumably you've solved the problem that you were formed to, create. And that's not the way people generally think once they sort of have an organization, they have good employees, they've got sort of things. So I think it's a really interesting question. And you're right, I don't know if there's anything you do about it, but I think there is this acknowledgement that on one hand it is a point of pride, but it's not being leveraged to the point where it could either be as effective as possible, given some of the outcomes and such.
So I'll end by restating my optimism.
Maybe down there, yeah, no. My apologies.
No, I think I started it. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
You'll be hearing back, as Bob said, we won't use anything without your permission, and I think, I hope you'll all enjoy joining us at the summit, and before then, when we start putting out the data on this, to kind of lead us in a certain direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.